one comedian here in Philadelphia. Number one comedian here in Philadelphia. Number one comedian here in Philadelphia. Number one comedian here in Philadelphia.
PlatinumTouchpresents, the show you all been waiting on. And now, it's time for the Hill-arious Show with comedian Malcolm Hill.
What up, everybody? It's your boy, comedian Malcolm Hill, man. This is the Hill-arious Show each and every Thursday, 7 o'clock, where we bring some of the funniest comedians, some of the best talent in the world, man, some of the funniest conversation. But what I need everybody to do before we get started, I need everybody to do me a favor. And if you're watching this, I need you to hit share. I need support from the people. I need you to hit share on this video. Share it into people's inboxes or share it into a group, man. We need to support your boy so this thing can get to that next level, man. Without support, without help from the people, man, nothing happens, all right? So we ain't doing this for nothing. So we need y'all, whoever's on here, to show me some love, man, and just hit share it to your page or share it to, share it to some groups, you know what I'm saying? And we got one of the funniest comedians in New York City, man. It's an honor for me to have this brother, one of the funniest comedians ever in New York City, man. It's a lot of comedians in New York, but this brother that I'm bringing on here, in a minute, is one of the funniest guys ever to come out of New York City, man. He's known as the old school junkie, right? Very, very funny. My man, Mr. Shawn Harvey, is going to be on here. Very, very funny, right? So with all that said, I got to bring my co-host on, my man, N.A. N.A., where you at, big man?
What's going on, M. Hill? How you doing, good brother?
Oh, good, brother.
Oh, man, I can't complain. I can't complain, brother. How you been?
Good, man. We got a great show, man, as always, man. We up to show, what, 200? We up to show 200?
It seemed like it, man. Ranjit, make sure we do at least 20 episodes per season. Might have to do 50.
we up to number 200, right? And we have absolutely brought some of the funniest people, man, some of the best talent. And it just so happened that I've worked with every last one of them. And these dudes are very, very funny, very, very talented. But how was your weekend, man? Did you do anything this week? Where was you at? Did you do anything?
Yeah, well, actually, Saturday was my birthday. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, I went to ATL with the family. Okay. And we had a good old time, man. They down there, man. I ain't gonna lie, they make you feel good and bad all at the same time.
Atlanta.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be honest with you, like we don't have we wear masks. These niggas is out there, 200 people. I'm starting to feel not safe, and then you got your mask on. They looking at you like this nigga crazy. They looking at
your mask on out there.
Yeah. I had my mask on, man. I wore my mask. I had my mask tight. It was like 200 people. Everywhere you went. Everywhere you went. Well, look, I wasn't trying to be. And then the other ones, they don't have no masks on, and they coughing and sneezing and all that. So every time you hear a cough or sneeze, you ready to check their temperature, all that, man. I said, the hell with that. I'm wearing this mask now. Certain places that, I took it off. We had Great Adventures. Great Adventures had about 10,000 people. You tell me you ain't going to wear your mask?
Listen, man. I don't think
10,000 people.
Listen, I think that once they stop advertising it on TV, then that shit ain't nobody. Because what happens is, if you notice, when that corona thing first happened, every 5 seconds on TV, 4 million more people died today. So now everybody throwing that mask on. The next day, 3 million people died today. I'm like, well, where are these motherfuckers at? The next day, 17,000 people died, right? So I'm like, hold up. Like, people getting shot. But then they said, but the big story, 14 million people died today. So niggas is like, oh, put that mask on. Y'all niggas is putting it. But once they stop saying that shit, nobody put that there. Man, it's all about this. Like when Ebola first came out, everybody was running and hiding. When Magic Johnson came up and said, "Listen, man, I got AIDS. I got AIDS." Everybody put the condoms on.
No, you're out of pocket, yo.
Bam, pull that condom off.
Magic Johnson didn't say nothing about no AIDS. He said, "I have HIV."
He said, "But wait, shit, I don't know what the fuck's the difference."
Yo, you're out of pocket, yo.
As soon as he said that, everybody put a condom on. I put a condom on. I put 2 condoms on over top of each other because I was scared. But as soon as they stopped saying that, bam, pull that shit off. Pull that shit off. Once they stop advertising,
so basically, the mass is killing us, or the advertisement is killing us, or both.
Advertisement. If they keep what's the guy name? David Muir. David Muir. And today, 15,000 more people died. This is David Muir. I said, this nigga every day, nigga. Will you give us some good news out this? And this is David Muir. And the big story is 17,000 people died. I'm like, nigga, where's these people at? Right? Stop with that shit, man. Tell us something positive. Tell us something. If every day he said everybody that had the coronavirus is now cured. If he starts saying that every day, motherfuckers. But if he says 17,000 more people just died, everybody running and hiding and escape. Stop and leave it the fuck alone, okay? If we don't get it, we don't get it. Coronavirus, Ebola. What was the other thing? What was the other thing that everybody was scared of, and then they don't even mention that shit no more?
Oh, swine flu. Swine flu.
Swine flu. Wait, where the fuck is swine flu niggas at? You ain't heard a nigga in the hospital now for the swine flu, right?
So you think? Huh? So do you think they're gonna take and put one needle that you can take versus trying to get you everything? They got some. This money is crazy.
They're about to start charging for that needle. See, it's like all the food companies. Oh, well, since the corona, now we got to go up on the meat because we don't have. Now we got then all of a sudden the gas people getting your gas. Oh, we had a pipeline situation, so now we got to triple that, right? Then the meat people say we got to triple the meat. We got to triple the gas. Everybody
not triple the meat.
Oh, right. Tripling the meat, right? It's a hoax, man. They're getting the money off of everybody, man.
Hey, man, you know what? I didn't mean to cut you off, but I came across something this week, right? What? That was funny, man. I think you got a twin brother or something, man. What? I think you got a twin. Hey, Ryan G, run that clip of Malcolm's twin brother, man.
Turkey wing, we gonna play some cards before we play the PlayStation, all right? And what the hell is wrong with you, man, with that face? And then another thing too, stop banging on my door, because you know the neighbors don't want me on this block. You banging on the door all loud with that one good arm you got.
Yes, first of all, before we play cards, I'm going to let you know that you're not going to keep gripping me up every time I come over here. I try to come over here, play cards with you, play games. Hey, you going to try to grip me up?
Hey, get your damn hand off me, man. What the hell's wrong with you, man?
And you're not going to be gripping me up, all right, because I will knock your ass off. I'm ready to drop you, boy. I'm going to drop you like a bad habit. Let's go. You ready? You ready? Let's go.
Hey, this one arm is strong. Don't we be jerking off with the one hand? Anyway, this is your last.
Why you let Turkey Wing do that to you, man?
Listen, that nigga really ripped my shirt and everything. If you listen real close, you hear my shirt go. That one arm is strong as hell, man. I didn't realize. No, that's a good one. You played that shit.
Yeah, I said that was a funny thing, man. I ran across that. Yeah, but I ain't gonna hold you up though. We got our guests in the building, so yeah, okay. He's in the building.
Well, before I bring this brother on, right? I want to say this quick story that I'm glad I had him on. I done been doing comedy at least 20 years, right? And he booked me. He booked me to do his room in the Poconos, right? And show's supposed to start at 8 o'clock, right? So we rode out there at we was out there like 6. Driving took us 2.5, 3 hours to get there. 6, we early. So I get there, I let him know I'm outside. He said, "Oh no, we're not starting until 9 o'clock." I'm like, "Well, damn, do I go back home and come back or what the fuck?" It's only 6:30, 7 o'clock. So, long story short, I'm sitting out in the car for the longest time. Show's supposed to start at 9. It ain't start till 9:25, 9:30. He put about 4 or 5 people on in front of me. Basically, I ain't get on stage till damn near 10:30, 11 o'clock. I ain't making no excuses, but it was the worst show that I've done ever. And I ain't seen this nigga since that day, nigga. One thing about comedy is if you do bad, you don't hear from niggas for a minute. So it was my worst show ever, man. But it's all good. That's part of the game, man. You ain't gonna be great all the time. With all that said, man, I'm gonna bring this brother. Listen, real rap. I know a lot of comedians in New York City, but this brother is in the top 5, in the top 10, man. His style, you know, the way he talk is. I can watch this motherfucker talk all day. It's funny as hell, man. So with all that said, give it up for my man, Mr. Shawn Harvey. Mr. Shawn Harvey.
Yes, yes. Well, first of all, let me get all this light out the way. First of all, that video was hilarious of y'all fighting or whatever y'all was doing, and you are too old. You are too old and too out of shape to be fighting and making videos like that.
This nigga's head is stuck like this. Like that stroke, man.
Yeah,
don't get it twisted. COVID's still out here. We don't need nobody in the hospital, bro.
Man, no, man. Once they stop saying that shit, man. Once they stop saying that shit, man, it's a done deal, man.
And also, what's up, my brother? What's up, man?
What's up?
How you doing, good brother?
Yeah, and listen, and Malcolm, of course, he's not telling the truth about coming to my room in the Poconos.
He always lying.
Okay, always lying. Okay, first of all, he's right. He got there about an hour before the show. Maybe 90 minutes, okay?
He said maybe 90, maybe 90.
Malcolm was too worried about everything else that was going on instead of just doing what he do.
Yeah.
And I think what threw him off was the place was packed. There was beautiful women. You know, sometimes comedians, when there's a lot of there's a group of ladies,
the pressure.
And you're not hitting right with the beautiful ladies.
I wasn't hitting at all. Them motherfuckers want to be dead. That motherfucker, man.
And you know what? And it was all good because he's right. Like we all been through it. Let me tell you something. I bombed in front of my mother, my baby mother, my ex-wife my wife at the time, everybody at my job. Yeah. You know when you're a new comic and you think you funny and you bring the whole neighborhood out. Yeah, I didn't feel, and I thought I was a new jack. I was 90 days in. I thought I was funny. Right. My cousin put me on a big show. It was at BB King's in Bronx and Times Square.
Okay.
And my cousin was a comedy promoter.
Okay.
I just started doing stand-up. My cousin was like, "Yo, I'm doing the show down on Times Square." I jumped right out the window. "Yo, cuz, put me on the show, yo. Put me on the show, yo." Rip Michaels is the host. He's ripping the room. I go on first, and when I tell y'all, I bombed so bad, my mother booed me. And let me tell you something. That's when I had the day job too. So for not for a week or 2 or 3 weeks, but for 2 years they was at my job. Yo, remember when Shawn bombed at the comedy show? So, bombing is part of the game. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens in doing stand-up. All the greats. There's 2 common denominators with stand-up comedians. One, we all crazy as hell. Yeah. There's some mental issues going on when you're doing stand-up.
Yeah. Everybody got that in common. Everybody got that in common.
Two, we've all bombed.
Yes, everybody got that in common. Yep.
But I got my Malcolm story too. I came down to Philadelphia and I had to get my passport and my money was real light.
Right.
And I went down to Philly, down to the Department of State. And I didn't have enough money to get my car out the garage. I ain't even gonna lie.
Damn.
I called Malcolm up. I was like, "Yo, Malcolm."
I remember that.
I said, "Malcolm, I need $20. I'm gonna book you, man. I gotta get my car. I gotta get out of here."
I remember that.
He came off his job, got $20 for me. I got my car out and I said, "Malcolm, I'm booking you in the Poconos." And he came to the Poconos and he bombed like a motherfucker. But
I I was so mad
thank
that I
you for
gave
the
that
$20 though, because if it wasn't for the $20, you would be in the Poconos,
I'm
brother.
still mad that that's what I get for being nice. That's what I get for being nice. Being nice and fucked up.
But I want to both give you two guys your flowers too, Malcolm, man, and the homie right here, man. Pleasure to meet you. But like you guys have done, like, especially you, Malcolm, like all the work you put in and doing stand up in Philly,
right.
And making that movement work, especially when y'all was doing hibachis back in the day, packed out the spot, bringing that like that Def Jam type of comedy that we love. With comedians from all over the country, bringing those heavy jokes down to Philly, and I know that you guys played a big part of that. I mean, are you and Buck Wild still together? I like to call you the Daryl Hall and John Oakes of comedy. Are y'all still together?
Why do people link me up with this nigga? Every time, like me and this nigga is like Batman and Robin up in this motherfucker. No, man, we ain't still together, nigga.
Yeah, y'all together. Y'all together.
Why they link us up together? I think when they do the flyer, me and him both will have a suit on. So it's like, oh, them two niggas is two.
Y'all together. Y'all peas and pies.
Hey, listen. You're the Mike and Dave of comedy, and I'm not mad at you.
Together, nigga. Yeah, I remember speaking of together, right? Talent had Skeet and Tommy T. Smooth at his room, right?
Yeah.
So they gonna put him on the flyer. You know, Skeet want to have his whole outfit. You don't put Skeet on the flyer with just his head, right? So they had Skeet's head and Tommy T. Smooth head, right? Like this, right? You know, Skeet need his whole outfit on the flyer. And over top of it, it said, 2 Philly guys, nigga. Skeet went crazy. Nigga, take me off the fucking flyer. 2 Philly guys. And it was two circles and just their head on the flyer. That was it. That nigga went off, nigga.
I remember that flyer. What was the problem with 2 Philly guys? I don't understand.
He didn't want a circle with just his head. His flyer got to be cameras and lights and electricity. It got to be electricity. And he don't want to be known as 2 Philly guys on the joint, man. When I seen that, man, he showed me that shit. I could not stop laughing.
I know one thing, man. You know, I'm from New York, but I live out here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I live about 90 minutes north of you guys, and I do know that like other than New York, Philly is one of the headquarters, definitely. Of urban comedy, man. Like you guys, when I talk about urban comedy, you Philly take urban comedy to a whole nother level. Yeah. Especially y'all do shows in Kensington where everybody gets shot. Y'all do shows in funeral homes, bicycle clubs, all type of lounges, gyms. Like I love y'all for that because I swear to God, when I come to Philly, and matter of fact, the last time I was in Philly, I was with Kobe Jack. I don't know where I was. The street was dark.
Yeah,
it was the Methadone clinic, and it was around the corner.
Parkside, 57, Parkside. If you said methadone.
Urban comedy rocks in Philadelphia, man.
Absolutely.
I love you.
Absolutely.
Look, y'all niggas do shows at 12:30 at night. We don't do that shit here. I did a show. They had me out there at Freddie Rich joint. This joint, he said, I said, all right, I'm gonna be there at like 8:30. He said, why? He said the show started 12:30. What? So I'm saying, oh, ain't nobody in this month. Yo, that shit was like it was fucking daytime. 12:30 at night. Started. Yeah. I said, what?
Well, you know, that's when they wake up.
Yeah, you know, that's the one thing about New York. Like, we definitely, it could be a Tuesday night or Thursday night, late, off hour, and you know, the place is packed. But New York, you know, the audience in New York are very smart. Like, they want to laugh.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And if you're not funny, they're gonna tell you that you're not funny. And if it take too long to get to the punchlines, they're bored. You know, we have very short attention spans.
Yeah, that's true. That is
very short attention spans. So that's why a lot of comedians throughout the country, they always say that they come to New York to get their chops up and get their joke right, because New York will bring it. So I'm just grateful. And not only that, I'm grateful that, you know, we're sort of, you know, one day it was COVID and everything was closed, and then the next day everything opened up. So I'm happy to see flyers out again, and
absolutely,
I'm happy to see comedy shows kind of rev up a little bit.
Absolutely.
My phone started ringing, and I was like, okay.
How did you stay busy during COVID? Were you like just was you doing like the internet thing like majority of the people, or you was doing more writing or just relaxing?
Well, I'm 56 years old, so I was mainly trying to stay alive first.
Okay.
That COVID looking for somebody like
it. Lucky to be alive.
So in COVID, obviously, we didn't do anything. But for me, what kept me really like focused and fresh is, I do a morning radio show.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I like that.
Yeah, that gave me an opportunity to keep my rhythm, keep my funny up.
Right.
Quote the other funny people.
Yeah.
Throw those jokes in there while I'm doing my radio show. So that's the one thing. That was the one saving grace that allowed me to just keep my rhythm. Now, when it was full COVID, I had to admit I did one like underground comedy show, something illegal. Somebody's basement. I needed that 300. It was either 300 or cough. You know what I'm saying? I took the 300.
Right.
You
risked your life. You risked your life for that damn show.
Yeah, no doubt. So the thing with COVID was just like everybody else. We saw our whole schedule disappear right in front of our eyes, like a David Blaine trick. So, but the thing with stand-up comedy, even if you're not doing stand-up on stage because of COVID, it's all about the love of the game. So if you love your craft and you love stand-up, obviously there's been times I was talking to the wall, talking to the mirror, looking at my throwing jokes and trying. But the one thing I didn't like, and I'll be honest with you guys, like I really wasn't feeling Zoom comedy. I really wasn't. I did about 3 or 4 of them. I didn't like it. I did a Narcotics Anonymous convention on Zoom. I didn't even know who I was talking to. I was laughing at my own punchline, and I'm like, what's going? So, but that disconnect because we live performers.
Yeah.
And I know in the beginning of COVID, like it made sense. We go online, we do jokes, but it doesn't. When you're a live performer, it ain't gonna work because number one, you give the audience the power now. Now they in the chat room. What type of shirt he wearing?
Yep.
He's not funny.
You see all these comments coming up the screen. Corny as hell. See, it's okay when you're in a show and don't nobody like you, it's quiet. But when you see motherfucking mad faces going up the screen, motherfucking bombs, them bombs, I said, nigga, I'll do the show, but take those little hand grenades. Motherfuckers had guns. I don't know how these guns is coming up the screen.
Said take all the captions off.
Take those captions off. I'll do the show with no captions. Okay.
You're absolutely right. I did this show for like a small group, some people that were in their living rooms at home.
Right.
And like one of the girls, like, I'm trying to be funny or tell my joke. I don't know what. I'm just talking to my phone. I don't know what's going on. And in the caption, I see a young lady go, "Get him off the screen," with the eyeball emojis. And I was, what? Get me off the screen? So because the thing when it's live and you're not getting that reaction, maybe you can kind of adjust.
Yeah. Or you can even bust on somebody in the audience.
That's what I'm saying. You can even try to adjust the joke or keep it in the moment with somebody else, or even joke on yourself to try to get, how we always say that joke didn't work, about, anything that we can do to try to rebound, but we can't do that.
Rebound. We can't rebound on
Zoom.
Bombs coming up the screen, mad faces, all kind of dumb shit coming up the screen. You might see one clap going up, and you sitting there like, well, damn, what is going on here?
Now you do notice one thing now. Since things have opened up, right? Mm-hmm. You rarely see a Zoom comedy show right now.
I haven't seen doing that shit. No, we're not.
Yeah. It's later for that.
Hold on, Shawn. How about this? Worse than doing it on the screen, to me, is when we had to do it in front of cars, and the cars is honking their horns if you're doing well. So you talking and you hearing bah, 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 bah.
Well, I did 3 of those,
Yes.
and the honking throws you off.
Yes,
Like that honking is the worst. And like we all have our stories, man. Like trying to navigate through stand up, trying to do stand up. But I'm glad that we don't have to get disrespected on Zoom, and no more honking of the cars.
No more.
Yeah.
So just in front of 50 cars.
Yes.
You can't hear the people. Instead of you hearing laughter, they hitting their horn to let you know that you're funny. So while you talking, you hearing bah, 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 bah. Nigga.
And the one thing, and they do, and it's coming from a loving place, but as comedians, it throws us off. But the one thing that I am excited about the most is, I believe, because we had a year off literally from doing stand-up and everything was closed. I just think that there's going to be like a 2 to 5 year resurgence on entertainment, like karaoke night gonna be packed, bingo night,
everything packed right now.
You know what I'm saying? Like spades nights, like
every night is gonna be a night.
Listen, your style, right? Listen, real rap. I'm gonna tell you.
Yo, all the bad bitches gonna be at bingo night.
Nigga, I was cracking on women at the Target. Target was like a club Target, nigga. When that cover was hitting, you go to Target and you can get you some women, because that's where everybody be fucking at. Because that's, I'm trying to tell you.
Right. So that's the most I'm excited about. That we're gonna have. Think about it, like New Year's Eve parties this year coming up. We didn't have that last year. We're gonna be turned up.
They're gonna turn up.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But Shawn, I love you, Smokey, Capone, talent. Everybody got a unique style. Your style is very unique. See, people that haven't seen you, you gotta watch this guy, man. It's the old school junkie, right? Yeah. And to me, he's called the old school junkie. How did you come up with that style, and how did you develop that type of? Because nobody's doing what you're doing. Well, no, I'm not gonna say that. Something now, trying it, but nobody. I'm not gonna say no name. But
oh, you got to say names, Malcolm.
No.
I've been in situations.
How did you develop that style like that?
Yeah, I seen people do. Well, that's no. Yeah.
Well, who used to do it?
I seen a lot of that going on. So I look at one show. I went on stage. I turned around. I was like, "That's me."
Yes, that's you. That's you.
The thing is, first of all, I suffer severely from the ADHD, so my attention span is really unbelievable, and I'm very hyper. And I've been through that all my life. So for me, I'm an energy comic. Yeah. So I'm very animated. So I don't stand in one place and do stand up, which is nothing wrong with that. I think some of the greats, if that's your style, and some of the greats have done it, that's what they do. Right. But for me, I'm very animated. I've been that way all my life, talking with my hands and just those gestures. So that energy articulates with the funny. Now, how did all that come about? Old school junkie really is just a meaning that I fiend for the old school. Right. And I want to give a special shout out to Tina Graham, who kind of point me that direction with doing some of my jokes being an old school theme, because I used to bomb every Monday at Mocha Lounge in the Bronx, New York. I mean, in Harlem.
That's a tough one.
Smokey Roberts was the host, and I bombed bad one night in front of the beautiful ladies. And I called Tina Graham the next day, and I was like, Tina, man, like, and remember, I'm 39, 40 years old, and I'm like, Tina, I can't do this, man. This comedy, I'm not funny, whatever. Right. So Tina stopped me. She gave me super tough love. She said, stop acting like a bitch. She said, you're almost 40 years old. Talk about how old you are. You got so much experience in life that these young comedians don't even know what's going on. And the moment she started cursing me out with this tough love, it all started to click. And then I found my identity. That's the thing about comedy. It's an onion. Comedy is actually therapy. You actually learn about yourself throughout the years when you're doing stand-up. It's like an onion, it peels. So when it's peeling off an onion and getting to the core. So when you start doing stand-up, you tell, you know, surface jokes, just stock jokes or whatever. And then once you get into knowing yourself and knowing who you are, it peels a lot of the insecurities and a lot of the jokes that are just kind of like ABC jokes, and you start to get into yourself. And once you get into yourself and you start talking about what you're going through, the audience identifies with it. Right. And then of course you got to throw in the punchlines. Mm-hmm. So that's how that all came about with me. High energy, knowing myself. And then I didn't like, I'm not the typical, a lot of people call me, I'm not your ordinary comedian, which I'm not. No. It's a whole different style that I have. It works for me. It's been working from day one. And that's how that all came about. So you're taking personal inventory. That's the thing about stand-up that I love the most about the craft that we do. You get an opportunity to learn who you are through your joke.
What's up, Dave? What's up, Chassie?
Right. Well,
yeah,
from the beginning, day one, what made you decide to get up on stage? What made you decide to get up on stage and do stand-up comedy? What made you think that, okay, I need to be doing stand-up comedy?
I know. Usually, like the first answer is, I was the class clown. I really wasn't. Right. I was the dude that was funny in the barbershop.
Okay.
You know that one dude that's always snapping in the barbershop?
Right.
Or jonesing or whatever you call it.
Right.
That was me. The thing was, one of the barbers was a comedian that used to open up for Rob Stapleton.
Okay.
So his name is Jigga, right?
Right.
So Jigga, you know, I'm in the, you know, we're in the barbershop. I'm, you know, he's cutting my son's hair. I'm snapping on everybody. Right. Like when I came in the barbershop, everybody got scared because I'm now here come the jokes. Right. And then Jigga said, yo, come to me to the place called the Lennox Pub. It was on Lennox and 147th Street. Okay. And he said, yo, I want you to come and do stand-up. I want you to do an open mic. And I said, yo, I'll be there. I'm coming. I'm in the building. And the first show, when he invited me, that first night, I didn't even go. Why not? I was like, because I thought it was BS. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing like some people, they're funny, but when you tell them to get on stage to do stand-up, it doesn't even equate. It's like, I'm not doing it. And then I got my hair cut the next week when I had hair. And then he said, yo, come back. And then I went, and that was the first time I got on the stage. So I got on stage because the dude that was cutting my hair was an opening act for Rob Stapleton, and he went to a weekly room. And when I went there, I had nothing. I went up there and said, yo, I don't know what to say. This is my first time on stage. People started laughing. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Right. And then the next week I went back, I bombed, and they screamed on me. So that's how the whole stand-up started. It started with my barber being one of my close best friends, and we're still friends today. Mm-hmm. He introduced me to going to the rooms and getting on the stage. But I've always been on stage anyway. Like I grew up in church back in the day, so I used to sing in church. Okay. I was a MC in the Bronx back in the day with the Cold Crush Brothers and the Funky Four and all of that. So I used to MC back in the day. So I always been on stage, and then I started working, had kids, the whole thing, and then so the stage, I've always been on stage. And then when I fell in, then I started doing stand up, and then 3 years after I started doing stand up, because I bombed. Remember I told you I bombed at BBQ. Right. When I bombed at BBQs, I stopped doing stand up for 8 months. That's how terrible that was. Okay. And then I got back on stage and I started doing stand-up again. And then it took like that third year. Mm-hmm. That's when I fell in love with comedy. It took me 3 years. I mean, I didn't know I was on stage learning my funny. Right. But that's different from falling in love. Right. When you fall in love with the craft, that's when you know this is where you need to be. And I know we all feel that way.
Yeah.
So tell me this, like, as far as you coming up as a comedian, who did you, I don't want to say idolize, but look up to feel like they got it and I want it. I want that.
When I saw, that's a good question. When I saw, there's a comedian by the name, hold on, let me try my phone. There's a comedian by the name of Kool Herm.
Okay.
From the Bronx. When I saw Herm, because I used to drive Herm around. And then I was that comedian too. Like when you're a new jack comedian, you drive other comedians around.
Yep.
So I used to drive Herm around, and Herm, like, he used to rip rooms. And I used to watch Herm, and I used to say, yes, I want to be funny like that. But I wasn't there yet. And then after Herm, I started running with Smokey Suarez.
Right.
And thank God for Smokey Suarez, because Smokey taught me how to put the jokes in and the punchlines. And then, last but not least, New York King Talent. I started running with him.
My favorite comedian.
So you kind of could see like where my training has come from.
Right.
My training came from the funniest comedians that are now like my brothers in comedy today, right, to help me get to where I am today. So inspiration, mentors, or folks that comedians that I look up to. Of course, we have all our famous comedians that we love. We call them the A-listers. I get it. But Kool Herm, Smokey Suarez, and Talent.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Now we all know them. Like, they might not be nationally known up on the chain, up on the list.
Nah.
Oh no, but they good. They good.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. They all got their props. They all got their credits. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of people, like my lady was like, I love Kevin Hart. Oh my God. And I go, have you ever heard of my man Smokey Suarez or Talent? Who's that? See, you need to see, no disrespect to Kevin or nothing, but there's comedians like us that grind in this game.
We know.
Because I've been on a lot of shows, fellas, where I've been on shows with A-list comedians, and they couldn't even close out their own show because the heat that was put on the stage before them.
Definitely.
Y'all know this.
I know this. Listen, Talent told me one time, right? Like we just said, he's one of the best comedians in the world. And
yes.
But a lot of people don't really know him. But I said to him, you know, how do you feel about that? He said, Malcolm, let me tell you something. He said, I make almost $250,000 almost a year. He said, I got rooms all over the world.
Yeah.
Right, that he do. He said, but the main thing about it is all them A-list comedians know that they can't fuck with me. So whether I'm famous or not, as long as they come to New York City, they know just because they're in movies and all that shit, they can't fuck with me. So when he said that, I'm like, damn. He said, respect from your peers is, for me, is bigger than me supposed to be famous. I said, damn, you ain't never lied.
Yeah.
Know, them niggas can't, they can't follow that dude. That dude, Talent, is a monster when on that microphone.
So and exactly, man, it's just what it is. Like, so a lot, and I say the same when people ask me this question, and thank you, that's a very good question. People ask me this question all the time when I get interviewed, and I say the same names. Because it's what it is.
That's real. That's what it is.
And that's where I'm from.
Right.
It's an honor to. It's an honor for me to have a comedian like Smokey Suarez or Talent.
Right.
This is when you know you respect it in the game. Is when you come off the stage and you have a comedian like Talent or Smokey or others like that.
Right.
Say, yo, you know, when you told that joke, right? Why don't you add this to the joke and add that to the joke?
Right.
When you get off the stage. When a comedian helps you with a joke or hears the joke, but want to polish up your own joke.
Because they confident in themselves. They don't give a fuck.
That's when you know. So big shout outs to Talent and Smokey Suarez, man. Without them, I wouldn't be funny. That's my word.
Definitely. Oh, y'all can't hear me.
Yeah, I told you get closer. You want to sit all the way back like you in the Maybach and you on your couch, man.
Listen, Talent to me is one of the funniest dudes on earth. Kev
Right.
is funny. There's a lot of people funny, but to me, Talent is one of the funniest dudes to ever grab the microphone. If you have not seen this dude perform, you need to watch. If you want to see comedy, watch Talent in New York City. There's a lot of funny dudes in the world, but trust what I tell you, Talent is funny. And whenever I can watch this dude over and over again, this motherfucker funny. So
yeah, you know what? I know, and you're right.
Yeah.
And Talent's funny, but my question to you is, how long is that leather couch behind you, bro?
He got the Maybach.
Like what? What is that like? What's that? Like, is that the John F. Kennedy battleship?
I'm in the backseat of a limousine. I got some money now.
Yo.
I came up, baby. This ain't the same Malcolm Hill from before. Okay.
Yo, your leather couch is in both our screens, bro.
I said, yeah, he did a Maybach.
And listen, you guys, with this show, this is what we need right here. And this is the vehicle, like Yardstream and all these. Now, this is what I'm talking about as far as using this vehicle to have interviews like this, chop it up so the fans and people can know like what's really going on.
They don't know. They don't know.
And this is what I'm talking about. So what you guys are doing.
I mean to cut you up. Before you leave, let them know where they can find you on that radio station too. I meant to get that from you.
Before he go, hold on.
No, he's not going nowhere, but we want to know where his radio station is at so we can tune
We'll
in.
give him his plug later, because they might try to watch his show right now. He's on our show. So don't hold on. Okay? Don't plug this shit yet, nigga. Okay? Listen. Give me your top 5 comedians right now. Give me your top 5 comedians who you like. Top 5. And no plug your show.
God,
Don't
there you
plug
go,
your show
man.
yet.
That's a tough one, man. I tell you,
Go ahead.
Coca Brown out of Atlanta.
Yeah.
That chick is a beast, bro.
Yeah, I just was with her last week. Yep.
Don't get it twisted.
Yes.
She's the type of comedian, when she get off the stage, you don't want to follow her.
Right. Exactly.
It's not gonna be good.
Exactly.
Coca Brown. Well, of course, Talent.
Of course.
I'm gonna say Smokey Suarez.
Of course.
I throw an A-lister in there. Bill Bellamy is a beast, bro.
You know what? I never respected him as much, but now I realize that motherfucker's a beast. I never respected Bill Bellamy as much, but now I realize he's in the top 5. That dude, Bill Bellamy, is a monster, and people don't realize it. Bill Bellamy is in the top 5. I
work with Bill and Animal, straight Animal.
Yes.
So that's 4. That's Coca Brown.
Give me 6 and 7. Go ahead.
I can't. Oh my God.
Well, why nobody don't never say my favorite comedian besides Talent? Why don't nobody say Mike Epps? What the fuck is wrong?
Now let me tell you about Mike Epps. Let me tell you something about Mike Epps.
He's in my top 5. He's my top 2.
I've opened up for Mike Epps a few times, right?
You hit the old school junkie on him?
Yeah. I've had the honor of working with Mike Epps.
Right.
And let me tell you something about Mike Epps. For me, you know what? I'll throw Mike in there. And you know why?
Please. Because that's my
and
second best
thank you, man. I'm gonna throw. That's gonna be my 5. Epps, Smoke, Bellamy, Talent, Coca Brown.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you why with Mike. I had the honor of working with Mike several times, opening up for them on the East Coast, right?
Right.
Mike is, for me, is one of the only A-listers,
right,
that will allow a whole lot of fire and a whole lot of smoke to go on before him.
Yes, he will. Yep.
Because a lot of these A-listers, and I say this respectfully, because without the A-listers drive the economy as well, theater shows and all that. So utmost respect to the A-listers, no question. But Mike Epps is the only one I've seen time after time after time after time let heat go on before him.
Yes, he will.
And that's facts. That's fact. There's a lot of A-listers, they don't want that heat. I'll tell you a story real quick. I'm not going to say the comedian's name, but A comedian want me to open up for him for the weekend in New York City at Caroline's. All the shows were sold out. And he said to me, Shawn, I don't want you to do your set. I don't want you to do your act. I want you to do something different. I don't want you to curse. And matter of fact, before you come on stage, I want you to have 2 new jacks open up for you. And then you go on and then you call me on. Now, these are 5 straight sold out shows at Caroline's, sponsored by 1051 in New York City, right?
Right.
You know what I did? I told the A-lister, nah, I'm good. I'm not working with you. I can't do that.
Wow.
I can't. You're not going to set me up for failure like that.
Right.
Like if you that A-lister dude, let that heat go on before you, because it only makes you better. Yeah. But a lot of A-listers, unfortunately, are very insecure about that heat. That's why they have their own set lineup, and they keep it safe. And I'm not mad at them. They have every right to it. And they've earned that. Right. But don't come to town, call a comedian like me or a comedian like you, Malcolm, or your man, because we gonna do our best to rock the crowd. But don't sit there and tell me not to do my jokes.
Right. Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about?
I had a comedian tell me, don't talk about women. I'm about to go on. When you go on, don't say nothing about women. And I'm like, well, damn, you the only one.
What city was you in? Was it Baltimore or DC?
I'm not saying, okay? Don't say nothing about women, because I'm going on next. And this was a dude that is fire.
Was it one of the guests that we had on our show?
I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
I know who it is, but I ain't gonna say because you're gonna be mad at me.
But he said, don't say nothing about women. Don't nothing coochie, none of that stuff. So I'm like, okay. They do. He's right. They will tone you down to make sure that's why a lot of A-list comedians or B-list comedians will have their own opener, because they know what their opener is going to do. They're not going to say, well, put Malcolm Hill on or put Shawn Harvey on, because you don't know. I'm trying to get it. Shawn's trying to get it. So I will dive off the stage into the head dive. And they don't want that. They like, look, you can't be diving off the stage and I'm about to go on next. They don't want that. So they'll bring their own opener.
Right. I seen practically all the A-listers rock. I've been to all, like all of us. I'm a comedian. I've been around. I've been doing comedy for 17 years. I get it. I've been there. And like I said, I thank you so much, Malcolm. I appreciate you. I will throw Mike Epps on that list because he's the only one.
I'm going to say one thing. That's the real person list, because if he ain't no top 5.
Shit.
Malcolm hates to hear that. But he ain't no top 5.
If you do stand up,
you being modest and you being very, very nice. You know? But
no, I hear you. No, I hear you. And you know what? I hear you. And you know what? And I hear everything. And I respect you said. And you know what? It's all good. The only reason why, for me, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You're a real good guy. You're a real nice guy.
Thank you. A lot of the audience members, they don't see that heat unless they're at the show.
Yeah.
They don't see that heat. You know how many times, I'm not going to name comedians' names, but you know how many, and we've all been through that discussion where we talk to somebody who's been to an A-lister show and they go, them other comedians were funnier than the guy.
Yes.
It just happened. I just witnessed that. A lady just texted Malcolm now. I don't ever give Malcolm his props, but a lady texted that. She said, Malcolm, you was just as funny as all the other guys that was on that show. And the reason why I respect her saying it, because in my mind, I could never tell him that at the time because his head is already big enough. But I said, I seen him do his routine a lot. And I always tell him, throw something new in it. But he made that shit sound like it was the newest shit I ever heard.
Right.
Was nailing it. So, I mean, like, I commend y'all for what y'all do, because you might know, but I'm not a comedian. I'm just a promoter. But that's my boy. And
I remember I did a show. I was hosting a show, right? I'll tell you who it is. I don't give a fuck.
Say it.
Corey Holcomb was the headliner, right? Corey Holcomb, Stone Cold monster in the game.
Yeah.
But when I'm hosting sometimes, and I can say whatever I want to say, I was crushing that stage so much that I swear to God, everybody came to me after the show and said, nigga, you should be headlining the show. You should be headlining the show. So I'm like, well, damn, they think I'm a host that ain't supposed to be funny. They think a host is not a comedian. So they was like, yo, you funnier than the headliner. You should do comedy. And I'm like, nigga, I am a comedian. They said, well, because you funny as shit. They don't know that the host is a comedian. So you're right. So sometimes you can blow the headliner out.
Yo, does that couch come with a bed, bro?
He got the Jay-Z suite. Like,
yo, Malcolm, how many leather jackets did it take to make that motherfucker? Hey, listen, I gotta go, man. I gotta get out of here.
All right, hey, Shawn, listen, man. Give a plug on your show that you do. I love watching you on your show.
Well, first of all,
you can't keep still. Give a plug on your show.
First of all, the Hill-arious Show.
Yes.
Is one of the hottest shows
that's
right now
that's what I'm talking
on
about.
social media. And I want to say that everyone needs to follow this particular show right here because I thoroughly enjoyed myself with these two dudes.
That's what's
so
up, man.
Please, let's look at, and then you know what? I'm gonna have both of y'all call my show.
Okay.
And I'll interview you guys, no problem.
That's what's up.
So my name is Shawn Harvey, SHAWN, comedian Shawn Harvey on Facebook as well, Hard Funny on Instagram. I have a popular podcast on social media. It's the Shawn Harvey Morning Show featuring the Wake Up Team. It's a morning drive show. It's Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. It's all media. It's all media you go to. That's where you can find it. Shawn Harvey Morning Show featuring the Wake Up Team. And I just started doing stand up out here where I live. Got some rooms open. Malcolm, I definitely will be calling you. So please reach out, Shawn Harvey from the Shawn Harvey Morning Show featuring the Wake Up Team. You go on Facebook, type in Shawn Harvey Morning Show, and it pops up as SHAWN Harvey. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Big Shawn. Thank you, Big Shawn, man. It's an honor to have you on here with me, man. I'll see you again. All right, homie?
Yo, what Jordan is that? Is that the Jordan -11 on your on the background? What Jordan?
Yes, that's -11.
That's the street bum Jordan. That's the street bum Jordans.
Is that a Jordan or a Jamal? What is that?
That's a Jamal Jordan.
That's the bummiest pair of Jordans I ever seen in my life. I get what you meant. That is the ugliest pair of Jordans I ever seen in my life.
Y'all such haters, man. This is official. This is official.
That's before Jordan had money, nigga. Listen, it was an honor to have my man Shawn Harvey. Listen, his show in the morning, definitely funny. It's like a whole team, and it's large, man. It's the Shawn Harvey Morning Show. Make sure y'all check that out, man. Make sure when you see him on the flyer, Shawn Harvey, you got to see this old school junkie. Matter of fact, look him up on YouTube, Shawn Harvey on YouTube. All right, listen. This has been the Hill-arious Show. I had a great time with y'all. Make sure y'all tune in next week. We're going to have another funny person on here. This is the Hill-arious Show. We see y'all next week. We out of here.
Ron G.